Hi, I'm Karen Fraser with Fitness Transformation, and today I'm here with Eddie Montoya Zapata, and we're going to discuss yoga therapy. Welcome, Eddie.
Hi, thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's nice, beautiful, blue sky. So yeah, it's a great day. How
Great.
about you?
I'm doing great too. It is a beautiful day, not too cold, which
Yeah.
is always
I,
appreciated. So tell us about your background in health and wellness.
oh, okay. Actually, that goes way back about 30 years. I did attend Temple University for athletic training. Unfortunately, well, or fortunately, I'll go with fortunately, I did drop out to have my children and I started my family. Um, but that really kind of stayed with me. The love of physical fitness and well-being stayed with me even though I left my program. So I continued with my studies. I continued to work in the field of medicine. Um, I married my husband, practices medicine. He did for 24 years in the Navy, and now he's doing it as civilian. So medicine and fitness and well-being has been part of my life since my early adulthood. Um, about 17 years ago, I started to practice yoga after a serious accident, um, which was an amazing transformation because I really helped my body heal. Um, and that started my yoga, I guess what you would say, my rabbit hole of yoga. I became a 200-hour certified teacher, and then I went and did my 500-hour, and I now am in my program to become a yoga therapist, and that's 865 hours of training. And along the way, I've incorporated other small trainings of 100 hours here or 60 hours there. But yeah, no. So that's where I am now with my love of fitness and well-being.
So, what is yoga therapy? How would you describe it to someone who has no concept of what yoga therapy is?
So I looked up. So the governing body for yoga therapists here, are actually throughout the world, is called International Yoga Therapists. And I knew you were going to ask me that today. So I actually looked up their definition of what yoga therapy is. And according to their website, yoga therapy is a process of empowering individuals to progress towards improved health and well-being through the application of the teachings and practices of yoga. And yes, that's it in a nutshell. And that's what I was looking for, something that was small and in a nutshell. Yoga therapy is the application of different yogic tools to meet the individual where they are that day in their body and in their mind, based on whatever it is that the client may be going to their yoga therapist for.
What is your typical client like? I mean, what do people usually come to you for?
Alrighty, so for me, typically I have people who come for pain management, but a yoga therapist can specialize. So I have friends who specialize in autoimmune disease, specifically with Parkinson's and MS. There are others who specialize in cancer survivors or going through the process of cancer treatments, others who are specific to high blood pressure, heart disease. So it can vary, right? So for me personally, what I've have experience with, because of my fitness experience and background, I have people that come to me more with pain management needs.
And that's what I went to you for my back pain, which I'm very
Right,
grateful for.
right. So your experience with me is slightly different. A yoga therapist typically will work one-on-one with their clients. What you experienced was a group class of everyone who had the same symptoms, right? And we were working with back pain symptoms, not from a particular trauma or from a surgery or anything like that. Pain that was kind of chronic and developed over time, but not, you couldn't put your finger on one thing that caused it, right? So that's what the class was meant for. And it was a structured class. So we had a small group, 6 to 8 people, and that's what's typical for a yoga therapy group class. And you all share commonalities in your symptoms. It needs to be small because the yoga therapist needs to be able to still individualize or give attention to individuals, because even though you all may have commonalities in your symptoms, you're still individuals, right? With separate needs and separate experiences that you're having with your chronic pain.
So what's the difference between yoga therapy and a regular yoga class?
The specialization, right? And so what you're experiencing is a specialization based on you and your symptoms. And then the other half of that is the training that the teacher has experienced. So I don't like to simplify things, but I guess for the sake of time, let's say that a 200-hour yoga teacher who's teaching a mixed level class is very much like a personal trainer, right? You can go and get your personal training certification in 18 months and then help people with different goals. I want to lose weight, I want to get stronger. Kind of the same thing with a 200-hour yoga teacher who's teaching a mixed level class. And then, of course, if you go to a 500-hour teacher who's teaching a little bit more advanced, maybe she's incorporating some meditation or chanting, mantras, breath work. That would be more like an exercise physiologist. 4-year degree, more training, more specific. And then you have your yoga therapist who takes all of that and then more, right? So just like you can go to a different school or college to get all of these degrees, you can also go to different schools for yoga therapy. And they require you to be at the very minimum a 200-hour teacher, and then you build on top of that. So the training is more intense, more sophisticated, I would say, because you need to have an understanding of different things, not just the body and the mind, but also the different teachings of yoga and how to apply them.
Okay. And for someone who's never experienced a session with you, what would a typical session look like?
So are we going to stick to a typical session with me one-on-one or
Sure.
group? Okay.
One-on-one.
Okay. So a typical session with me involves, our first session is about 90 minutes, and it involves a body assessment, okay? So, and I say body assessment because most people are coming to me with pain management. Mm-hmm. But that's also, that assessment isn't just limited to an assessment of the body. So when I say assessment of the body, I'll check to see where you have weaknesses, where you have overcompensations, where one side of your body might be a little bit tighter or stronger than the other side of the body. That's an overcompensation. But I also will do, I'll use yogic tools to do an overall assessment of you overall. And a person is more than just their body, right? They have emotions, they have thoughts, they have a personality, their breath, how well they're breathing. So the assessment follows all of those layers. And we try to find where you are on your worst days and on your best days. Like, where are you kind of living your life? And are you living your life in a balanced state? So I'll do that assessment. I'll find where you are, and then we'll talk about your goals. And then we'll come up together with a practice that fits your needs and your goals, and we'll move towards that. And each session is about 60 minutes. The practice that I give you is something that I'm going to ask you to do daily. So it's a big commitment on the client's part. And the practice is short, right? We all live a very busy life. I don't expect you to do a full hour of practice and somehow fit that into your busy life. But a 10, 12, 15-minute practice is, I think, reasonable, practical, and we would slowly develop change over time.
I remember you saying to me that if all I do is just the breath work, that's, enough. If that's all I can get to. So why is breathing so important? What is so important about this breath work?
Oh, wow. I love that question. That's an awesome question. So the breath is the link between the emotions, the mind, and the body. And you can have a huge impact on both your mind and your body by just focusing on the breath. And yoga therapy has different breathing techniques, right? So if we take a normal day for most of us, right, we're just trying to survive, especially during COVID. We're just trying to survive. And I believe that now with COVID, not only are we trying to deal with stress as what it was like normal for us, but now all these new stresses. So that sends our body, physical body, into a stress state, which in the body means that your nervous system is responding to these stresses, and it's triggering what's called a sympathetic nervous system response. Basically, we know that as a fight, flight, or freeze response in the body. And then we are just chronically in that state for days, weeks, months, because we're just trying to survive. The breath helps to slowly regulate the nervous system and help you bring down that state of stressfulness, of always feeling like you're on the edge of. We all experience stress in a different way. So it helps to regulate that feeling down into a more calm, alert, and relaxed state. And that the breath is the link, right? So if you can do nothing for that day other than just focus on your breathing to help self-regulate your nervous system back down into a safe, calm, and alert state, then you're helping not just your body, but your mind as well. When your body's in a chronic state of sympathetic nervous system, stress state, your body's sending out hormones, enzymes, proteins into your body constantly, right? So one of these is cortisol and adrenaline. And because your body is a machine, it recognizes that it's in a stress state and it needs to survive. So it sends out these chemicals to help your body survive. Well, is the danger something that you need to flee? Adrenaline. Is the danger something that you need to hide from? And the cortisol is kind of like helping you to keep this state in your body that you're either ready to fight or you're ready to run. Well, when that's happening chronically, those chemicals, they have a purpose, but over time, chronically, they can do damage. So it's important to find a balance. And that's what the breath really works on.
So you talked about, so I was in this group, I didn't have an individual session, and you talked about the different kinds of energy, and each person in the group had their own color or colors based on this chart that you shared, and that informed what kind of breath work or what kind of exercises we did. So could you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, so that is specific to the yoga therapy program that I am in. The yoga therapy, or my program is called Optimal State Yoga Therapy by Dr. Amy Wheeler. She is the developer of the program and of those charts. I love her. I think she's a genius, but she's a PhD psychologist. She works in sports psychology, so she's a college professor, 30 years, and she's also a yoga therapist for 25 years. So she's taken all of that knowledge and she's created this amazing school, amazing program, and she's developed these charts. So I use the charts in my class. In yoga, we teach and believe that each person is a combination of the 5 elements. So there's earth, wind, fire, water, and air. And when these 5 elements are out of balance in one direction or the other, it causes our systems to be out of balance in that direction or the other. But there's also this state of being that exists for each of us, because we all have these 5 elements naturally, and in balance, they're in percentages, let's say. So for me, I could have just naturally, as part of who I am, a little bit more fire and a little bit more air than my husband. My husband might have a little bit more earth and water and fire than I do. So this is one chart. So this talks about the 5 elements, and this is where you get your colors from, right? So this is fire, and then air and space, earth and water is a combination of these 2 sections. The middle is gold. So we say, or we are striving to a balance, right? And then she has charts for assessments, charts for therapeutic plans, charts for different times of the year, because that'll affect us as well, charts for different times of the day.
I definitely know that when it gets early, that does have a huge effect on my energy levels. I'm
right.
to hibernate.
Right.
School is over at 4:50 and I'm ready for dinner and bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in the summer, I
Absolutely.
could be, going all day and not even think about being tired.
Yeah, no, we're affected by all of it, right? We are interconnected to the world around us. And yoga uses that information to help regulate, right? So it's a constant working towards finding balance. And that balance within us is interconnected with the balance outside of us as well. So what you're feeling is natural. And it's good to be aware that you're being affected by the cold, or for me, for instance, this time of year that it's getting so dark, so early, it has a big effect on me emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, me too.
So I know that about myself. Having that awareness gives me the tool to understand, okay, I know that this is that time of year. What am I going to do for myself today that's going to help me pull me out of that slump that I'm going to feel by the end of the week if I don't do something for myself? So it's the awareness is, I would call it 50% of the battle.
So
right?
what other kinds of things would you do, you personally, to get yourself out of that slump?
Well, I this time of year, I actually change when I do my yoga practices and my meditations. I do them in the early afternoon, like around 1 o'clock. And I set myself up for preparing for the evening. It's going to be early. So I start with that. I change my routine. And then I make new routines, things that I can look forward to in the evening. I drink a lot of tea. So I'll have a cup of my favorite tea around 6 o'clock. I will allow myself a little snack around 7. And I'm usually in bed by 8:30. But I just try to create a routine in the evening that brings me joy, that lifts me up, to kind of combat, oh my God, it's like pitch dark out there. And it's only 5 o'clock. Yeah. Because during the summer, the spring and the summer, yeah, I'm not drinking tea or winding down at 7 o'clock. I'm out walking my dog at 7 o'clock, enjoying the evening, enjoying the light. So it's a different routine. So I try to change that to accommodate what I'm feeling.
Right. I know that my dog is still on his regular schedule, and he's like waiting for me to walk him at 7, and I'm feeling like it's cold and dark and I really don't want to, but it forces me to get out there and get into the fresh air, because now with COVID I'm working at home again and I'm in the house all day. It could be very easy to just never get outside.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think that's the danger zone for what we're all living with right now. I walk my dog instead at 7. I go at 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I give her a special treat. So I've changed her routine to match mine.
Yeah,
So
that's a good idea.
yeah, so I give her a special treat. So now she knows at 3, and then at 7, I give her a treat. In the beginning, when I was first transitioning her, I actually would give her a calming treat, because I was doing my own calming and just preparing for the night. So I kind of would give her a calming treat to prepare her for the night. But yeah, no, I get it. And exactly, if you don't make time for some time in the sun and daylight, it affects you.
Yeah, it does.
So it's good to be in nature. Nature is a big part of our internal balance and healing. And we use being in nature in yoga therapy. I may recommend to my client, I need you to take a walk every morning. I need you to go, not wear earbuds, and just listen to the sounds, listen to the breeze going through the trees, listen to the birds, listen to the squirrels, and just be in nature and take a walk. It doesn't have to be an hour, 10, 15 minutes, and then go home and start your day. And that could be a part of your yoga therapy.
Okay, sounds like a good plan, because I know that most of us, when we do get outside, we're distracted by other things. Like you said, have our earbuds in. I'm often listening to a podcast, or maybe that's my only time to call my friend and talk on the phone, or and
Right.
so it's
Right.
it's good to get out of that and just be totally immersed in nature and
Right.
relax,
Right.
disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would recommend something like that for a client who is showing predominance in what we would call a type A personality, someone who feels a need to fill every moment of their day with something, or they don't feel like they're accomplishing anything.
Right.
And this is great.
I don't know anybody like that.
and it's never about right or wrong. That's not what yoga therapy is about. It's about finding balance between all of these things that we have and do and want in our lives. So being a type A personality, for many of us, is part of our survival skills. That's how we got to where we are today. And that's okay. That's great. But what about the other part of you? The part that just wants to be, and just be heard. Where's the balance there? So it might cause a little friction in the beginning when I say, go take your walk, no earbuds. I just want you to listen to nature. Let whatever goes through your head go through your head, but I want you to slowly practice. I am doing something. This is not a waste of time. This is me taking care of me, and I need that. So that's the beginning of finding that balance, right? So it's never about right or wrong. It's just about a shift,
Mm-hmm.
and finding that middle ground where makes us happy. It fits our needs and our goals. So.
Okay, so how can people find you or connect with you if they want to have yoga therapy or if they want to learn more about it?
I do have an Instagram. It's Eddie's Yoga. I also have a Facebook page, Eddie's Yoga. I do not have my website up anymore. I took that down because I'm not actively working with clients at the moment. I am a caregiver, as well as I have children. So I take care of my mother-in-law who is high risk. So I've kind of backed away from working with people until she feels more at ease with that. But you can contact me through my Facebook page or my Instagram page. They both have my emails. You can email me at Eddie at eddiesyoga.com. But yeah, Eddie's Yoga is really the best way. You can just type that in there. I do want to give a shout out to Optimal State, Amy Wheeler, Dr. Amy Wheeler, because her knowledge is and her guidance is a big part of what I do with my clients. So I want to give her proper credit, as well as the lineage of yoga. Yoga. That's where my yoga therapy training started, was in yoga and the love of yoga. So I definitely want to give out a shout out to all the teachers that brought yoga to the Western world, and the gift of yoga to us from India. And I want to make sure that I show appreciation and gratitude for all that.
Yes. Well, thank you for talking with me today. And it's been really informative and enlightening, and I'm sure everybody will find this interesting and enjoy the information that you've provided. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me on here. I'm very honored that you've asked me, and just the opportunity to share my love of yoga therapy is a great opportunity. So thank you so much.
Thank you.